joining in. Welcome into the Music on Transit virtual panel discussion. We started the conversations already on the side. We're hoping to have a very fun evening today with more discussions around our theme today. My name is Oppong-Mensah. I'm going to be the moderator today. Very special guest and panelists we have today. So before we go into the panels, I'll just tell you a bit of Music on Transit. So this is our third virtual panel discussion, and this edition is the theme of this edition is the African artists and digital platforms. In the past panel discussions we had people from across different musical space, from tech, from the creative angle, to come and talk about the theme. So what Music on Transit is a platform that explores the intersection between African music, technology, and culture. So just to go into it, for those of you coming in, you should engage as much as you can with the conversations as we go in. You can drop your comments. You can also put your questions in the Q&A session as we go through. So for this event, we had Sphere as the co-founder of the music Imbizo supposed to be one of the panelists, but for personal family reasons, he's not going to be on it. But we have a senior manager of the music Imbizo and Zama Khumalo with us today, all the way from South Africa. So we're excited to see how she gives her experience and engage with the team. And also, this event is a special event because it's in collaboration with gigmit. Gigmit is a booking platform with artists and promoters over 140,000. Anna will tell us more into that. So one of our panelists today is Anna Lüneberg. She's head of marketing for gigmit. And the other panelist, Tumany 7 Ames, award-winning artist from Guinea. She will give us a perspective into the team today. And so, yeah, that's it. So as you come in, let us know where you're joining in from, and also engage as much as you can. We're going to have a very fun conversation. It's going to be as relaxed as possible. And yeah, we're starting from the top. So the theme today, the African artist and digital platforms, quite broad. It's quite a broad one. So we'll try and see how we can, bring everything in focus, bring everyone to come in their perspectives. Since it's the African artist and music platform and digital platforms, I'm going to start with Tumany, the artist. So Tumany, in terms of as an artist with digital platforms, in terms of digital platforms, I'm sure as an artist, as you have your accounts and you have used different digital platforms, how is it like for an artist, your relationship with using different digital platforms as an artist for promoting your works and for interacting with your fans?
Thank you, Nana. And before I start, I want to say good evening to anybody that's joining us right now on the Music on Transit panel. It's an honor to be here. And shout out to all the other panelists as well that's on the with us here tonight. So talking about the digital space, the digital space or the digital platforms and the African artists. I think today we all know how tremendous the digital platform has enabled artists to be very more interactive with their audience. So with the digital space, you can actually have a measurement, if you want to say, on how much you're reaching out there and who you're reaching out to. And you can also have a very constructive analysis of who is actually taking in what you're putting out and what you really need to put out, where to put it out and all like that. So I think it's allowed, especially the African artists, to have a more broader visibility, which was very scarce back in like 10 years or say 20 years ago. African artists were doing good music, but they were having problem with exposure, international exposure. Today it's different. We have a means to be able to share platforms. I'm an African artist and I'm sharing platform today with you guys from Germany, from different part of the world. So I think it is obvious that the digital space has enabled the music, not only for African, but on a global level, to actually reach out more and give more products to music lovers and enthusiasts of music. But at the same time, the African space itself is still having so much struggle in the digital space. Why? Because the African artists work 10 times as harder than the European artists, or let's say the Western artists. The African artists don't have so much digital services. For example, like we have the gigmit. Anna is from gigmit, so the gigmit kind of platform. You don't have a lot of this kind of services in the African space, which enable the artists to have more gigs and show out and whatever. And these kind of strategic entities that lack in the African digital space is the back setting of the industry as it is. But yet we see a lot of positivity, like we were talking earlier about the album from Davido that is trending all over the internet right now because of his interaction directly with his fans. He doesn't have to go through a middleman right now. He can just tell them today on Instagram or on his social or any platform or any handle he has, and hey guys, I'm dropping an album in 5 days, and he goes 5 million hits, and that's already a good sign for the projection of the project. So I think the internet space is really tremendously helpful to the African artists who have been dealing with a lot of backsets in terms of exposure.
And I think well said, Tumany, and you cover quite a lot in terms of sort of some of the positives and sort of the challenges in that regard. Yeah. But as an artist, in terms of the way you interact with your fans, do you find sort of a stronger connection now with the digital space? Because you're an experienced artist, you had periods where there wasn't much this digital connection with fans. How is it like for you in terms of your connection with fans? Do you have this direct connection or stronger connection with your fans?
Yeah, I think definitely there is a direct connection. Like today, I can actually put out my word there, and people who are actually following me, people who are into me, and they consumers of my music or whatever, they can get the message directly, like I said earlier. And in my time, for example, my first album was in 2002 in Guinea-Conakry. That was a local market in Africa, West Africa. And you know how the system is down there. We are quite, struggling with everything that is technology and everything that is equipment and stuff like that. But today, I live in Europe now, and I still have a fan base in Africa that is still patronizing my products, even though I'm not physically in that space. And the only reason that is because I have a space that we all mutually share wherever we are. And because we share a mutual space that I'm active on, these people engage with me directly. I have messages coming to me directly now. Back in the day, if a fan wanted to send me a message, he would go look for a post address, he would go look for a telephone number or a fax number or an email, but today we kind of get to the fans faster. And also it's a good thing because we can actually interact and get our product there, but also it's even harder now because if you don't have the right strategies, if you don't have the right backing, the digital space is so saturated that your stuff or your product, your image, your brand gets overlaps, by other strong presence that is on the space. So it is very necessary to cultivate a very organic interaction with your fan base or with your followership in order to have your brand organically grow. So I think it is a good space, and yeah, it makes me interact better with the fans.
Great. Thanks for that. I think just based on fans, I would just I'll go to Anna on that because on the gigmit platform, I realize you have some like the fan growth sort of on your platform where you have I think it's in relationship with your fans. Can you tell us a little bit of the gigmit platform itself and a little bit about sort of how the fan growth, how do you measure that, or what's the whole concept around that?
Yeah, of course, for everyone who doesn't know gigmit, because I guess, we're an international platform, but we're really new to the African market. So yeah, it's a digital booking platform for live music. And we basically match artists with promoters, which means artists can create their free artist profile. It's like a digital, like an EPK, but it also includes the social fan data, the fan analytics. So they can connect their socials, Facebook and Spotify, for instance. And then promoters can discover new live acts through the artist search and see, or also the fan charts. That's a new feature that we offer, where they can see, okay, who's actually trending right now in my location? Like who has a lot of fans, who has a lot of fan growth as well, because most of our artists are newcomers. So of course, they are not they've not like broken through yet, or how you say, they don't have the breakthrough yet, so they're not that big, they don't have that many followers yet, but they might have a strong growth in a certain area. And if the promoter is organizing a festival or just has a venue in that area, then of course he wants to know, okay, if I book that act, will he draw or she draw a crowd? And so that's something that's on the artist profile now. And the fan charts tool itself is like, it's like something when the promoter logs in, he automatically sees these charts and he can look for the locations and filter through that and see, okay, who's trending where. Yeah, and apart from that, there's a lot of open calls for festivals, but right now also for online live stream festivals, of course, because of the Corona crisis, and artists can apply, or they can be discovered through these like fan charts and artist search tools. But yeah, it's very recommended to really connect your socials, because that's what bookers are now, or promoters are now looking for. But it's not all that counts, of course. If the music is great and you don't have that many followers yet, I think, especially for showcase festivals, you will still be booked. But it's good to have this transparency also for a promoter, to have everything in one place and easily accessible.
So Anna, just in terms of the gigmit platform, since you're connecting artists with you're connecting artists with promoters on the digital space. So with that connection, in terms of from a digital angle, that's really sort of something that is revolutionary in the sense that for a lot of artists, you have a lot of artists that might be good, but don't get access to, for example, to promoters for whatever reason. So have you had, like, for example, case studies, or you have, I'm sure probably you have a few of artists that just through this platform, they get to meet the next promoter that then gives them the next big gig or the next big platform for them to showcase their talents?
Yeah, of course, there's many examples, and we're trying to follow all of them, because usually they start off with the gigmit profile when they are still newcomers, are still small, and then they progress, and then all of a sudden, I don't know, you see them play at major festivals, but you need to track that. And now with the fan data, we are actually able to see the growth, but we also want to trace them and see, okay, what's happening after, to really see, okay, who made it. But yeah, we have a few that we know of because of our INES project. That's the Innovation Network of European Showcases. It's like a EU-funded project, and that has an INES talent pool. It's only for European artists, but that's where you see, okay, people who made it there, they are selected by showcase festivals, by promoters from showcase festivals, and they get to play at all of those in Europe. And so there's an exchange there, and they get seen and they get booked after, and they've been actually, I don't know, playing South by Southwest and playing, like, I don't know, in Germany at least, it's big Reeperbahn Festival. We have a German band called Etna that probably nobody knows here, but they've really had a big boost through that, because I mean, it's not the only reason why, of course, why an artist is successful, but I think it can play a part in it.
Yeah, but definitely, I think digital platforms know how important they are, and just talking about booking platforms in regards to events, we'll go to Zama, because Zama is senior manager for the Music Imbizo. For those of you that know, the Music Imbizo is one of the leading South African music business conference, and I think this year you guys went digital because of the whole COVID and everything. Do you want to tell us how it was like moving to a digital space and organizing that? I'm sure that was new, and engaging with artists and music industry leaders.
Oh no, that was very, very new for us, because we've always focused on being live event. So it has always been, let's get people from all over the country, all over the world to come to SA, to explore South Africa and come to Durban. So that has always just been the key aim for the Music Imbizo. For the 4 days of the Music Imbizo, we are just gathering at one location. You get to network, you get to do business. And that was just consistently what we did. And so when lockdown hit, it was always just that thing of, do we cancel? But we also don't know how long lockdown would last. So it was a matter of, if we said, let's cancel the Imbizo for 2020, what happens if it's still there in 2021? You know, do we still cancel again? So it was a very, I don't know, I think it was a very stressful transition. And also just noting that for years, we've always just done live events, and we've always just been, you know, in certain locations around Durban, and that's what we were known for. So to some degree, it was also just part of our brand identity associated with Durban in different locations. So going digital was a very, it was a great experience to say. It wasn't an easy one, but it was a great experience because we got to be, a lot of people actually got to know the music in Imbizo. We got exposed to people actually beyond just our normal audience or our consistent people that actually came through for the music in Imbizo. So I think that was the key thing that we got to realize, and that we got to actually also focus on, that more people get access to the music in Imbizo, which is the key aim, because it has always been a thing of come through, network, do business. And that has just been, you know, come to the Imbizo, do business. If you've done business, you made even us happy, because that's what we want. Meet key players in the industry and speak to them and do business with them. And so to have that and go to a digital space, not sure how the results would be, but it actually turned out, it came back very positive. People were able to set meetings with the app that we used. And so they were able to set meetings, they were able to still interact besides just joining in for different live sessions.
Yeah, definitely. And I was on the platform actually, and it was really good. And you had a session with Master KG, and just because we're talking about the African artists, I would just go into that. Of course, most of you probably would already know Master KG with the big hit, Jerusalem Everywhere, and he was on your panel. So, but just in terms of how you work with artists before, and how you had to you engage with artists on this particular edition, how was it like for you in terms of organizing that? And did you realize that the artists having more of an interest to want to be on your platform because it was now digital?
I think more than anything, the music in Imbizo, in terms of like the call in, has always been consistent in saying that we do call out for speakers and for even people that want to showcase at the music in Imbizo. So that system has always just stayed that if you think the music in Imbizo is the platform for you, and you feel like you have something to share, or you feel like there's something that you can learn from it, do come through and actually share your content and actually engage with other people in the industry. So it was still consistently the same, if I may say, because even the artists that we interacted with, it was always people that we wanted to also still do business in the space, whether you are a Master KG or you're still an upcoming artist. We wanted it to be a thing of, you don't feel like there's a Master KG, so I need to stay in my little corner. It was a thing that you come in here, you network, and you do your business, and you sell yourself. And so it was very much brand focused. But I do believe that because of the lockdown and the coronavirus, we got exposed to more industry people, being the fact that they also jumped online to actually sell their brands. You had more small artists even doing live videos and doing live content for themselves. So, and because we're also promoting the music in Imbizo on social media platforms, they actually, you know, in terms of content association, it's likely that you'd be able to see another event that is actually focused and actually talking about the same thing as you would. So it did actually grow to and actually work for the music in Imbizo even better compared to actually just being on location and not going digital as much.
Wow, that's just like some complexity in there, but quite simple in the sense that it's just a new space, but still. So Tumany, just from lockdown to now, it's been like a very unique period for a lot of artists. There's so much conversation in terms of, you know, streaming numbers going up, artists not getting access to live performance. A lot of things has changed, and I'm sure for you it's like a strange period as an artist, you know. But what I want to find out is for you. Has it been, would you say it's been good or bad? Just like literally, that's just going to be, and on what basis would you kind of measure that?
Well, I mean, with the COVID, it's a new experience, right? So every experience definitely will come with its duality, you know what I mean, the negative and the positive. For known artists, for artists that already have established brand, we saw their numbers skyrocket. You know what I mean? Incredible screams, numbers, and stuff like that. They already have an established fan base, and that fan base will attract all the new audiences because people have more time to browse their phones now or whatever. For coming up artists or artists that are still struggling to have an established fan base, it's a complexity because you need more outdoor spaces to get your brand out there. You need more places to go and, you know, get your brands and, you know, do a little show here and there and 3-4 people follow you up and stuff like that. And you're not having the right a sizable fan base, you cannot really attract a lot of digital viewership on your content because you don't have, you know, that kind of followership. So it makes it kind of hard for struggling artists, especially artists that are new to digital platforms and they are finding their ways with it. It's kind of hard for them because you got a lot of work to do. If you don't have the right team, you don't have the right structure around you, it makes it very hard. But on a personal level, being in the business for a long time, and I've come through different eras of the game, I realized that every experience has some advantages. So one of the advantages with the COVID is that you can actually interact more personally with your fan base because your fan base is actually needing content. They need to be fed, you know, they want something to talk about, to chat about and whatever. So if you can just, you know, take that opportunity and say, okay, I'm gonna start up a new campaign, a new brand on my image or whatever, a new sound I'm gonna create or a new whatever you creatively want to input into the system, into the space, then I think it's a good time for you because then the people are actually paying attention. So if you get lucky and come up with something that is really, you know, dope, I would say, you can get a pass. You can easily get a pass now because people are listening. So stuff going viral now is more constant because people are actually listening and paying attention. So I think in that sense, the time is good, but otherwise, it is what it is, man.
Yeah, definitely great one there. Just Anna, you being a booking platform, which is sort of the relationship between artists and promoters is it's literally based around events, live events. How is it like now, the relationship? How has the relationship transformed as in terms of artists using your platform now?
You mean with in the context of Corona? Or?
Yeah, in the context of Corona.
Yeah, I mean, of course, it affected us a lot in the beginning, and we didn't know how it would develop. There was a lot of uncertainty. I mean, the good thing about it was still that the bigger festivals, they were booking along like ahead of time. So they were booking already for 2021 and that's still standing. I mean, we don't know how that year will go. Hopefully those festivals will take place in the summer. The vaccine will be there. But of course we had to think about, okay, what else can we do? And then of course, live streaming just like started to be a big hype, and we collaborated with a lot of different live streaming platforms because we first thought, okay, we are not a promoter ourselves, or we are not an event organizer ourselves, so we're just gonna collaborate and try to bring those streaming platforms on board. And one of them was Show For Me, and the good thing about it is that you can also sell tickets there, because first, you know, you could do Instagram, you could do Facebook Live, but it was hard to earn money there. And it's good, I mean, for the fans to keep doing that, to keep engaging them and just to be there. And but I think still in the end, it's also cool to have also a high quality live stream. There was very different types of live streaming. Some were just, you know, on the couch with a guitar, which is nice in the beginning. And then after a while, it gets a bit repetitive, and then there's some that have really creative concepts. They had cool backgrounds, lightings, cool ideas that really engaged with the fans. And yeah, and then with Show For Me, we did actually a collaboration where we did our own online showcase festival, because then we thought, okay, why not do this ourselves? Because now with everything being digital anyways, we don't need to rent a venue, or we don't need to do all that. We can just, you know, do an open call for our artist community and scout people from all over the world, and which is cool. Like we had acts from South Korea, from Indonesia, from Venezuela, from Australia, and they all performed there. And of course they had to activate their fan base, which they can't forget, because of course we we also promoted it, but in the end, we don't have the end consumer target group.
Yeah.
So to sell tickets, the artists still needed to promote it. But there are also platforms, other platforms that already have an audience. And that's why we're also opening a channel now on Twitch, where we want to showcase all our artists a lot more than we can in this kind of indoor inspired, it's called, in this smaller showcase format. And Twitch can feature it, and they already have a huge user base. So yeah, we hope that way even newcomer artists can get discovered, because that's maybe
it's been like how a lot of digital platforms like Twitch during this COVID period, they've just like expanded heavily and big. Just to check up on our attendees, those of you and listen to us and join us today, if you just joined, you're welcome in. It's a pleasure having you guys and join us for the Music on Transit. This is the third edition of the Music on Transit, the theme, the African artists and digital platforms. And we've just been going into just exploring how African artists and of course, Anna is also giving us a different context in relation to gigmit, which is still relevant to African artists now, especially with the platforms now becoming sort of global and international, one platform. So I'm just gonna, you can drop in your comments and you can also put in your questions in the Q&A. We're gonna come to that end of the discussion and we'll try and answer all the questions. I'll just go to Zama just about sort of how now we're getting a sort of a unified platforms, a unified space where artists can interact with big companies or smaller companies like your platform did Music Imbizo this year. But you have an experience of working with artists and companies to create sort of a brand identity. How important is that now for artists in this particular period?
Oh, it's very important. I think more than anything, the Corona stage and just the lockdown and everything made everybody just take, a step back and get to do some, I don't know what to call it, but to actually just look deep within, basically, whether even personal, even creative wise, in terms of music and the type of content they take out there. Because it was also said that because of the coronavirus, artists that had big numbers got more access to fans, or their content was exposed to more people. And I think if you took the time to actually look at it, it was also a time for individual artists or individual, even brands, because everybody's a brand. If you're in the digital space, you have a brand presence, So it gave everybody the time to actually create relationships with their fans. So, and even the idea that you actually can connect with them, because the most important thing is, you can have 1 million followers, but if you have 1,000 followers and they're all loyal to you, they're likely mostly to buy from you, and they're likely mostly to interact with you in different spaces. So that works more for benefit for you, if that makes sense. So I think the brand identity part in artists actually became very important for one to actually strengthen, but also to one actually be consistent in it. And being also able to adapt in it, and being able to emotionally connect with your fans. Don't just be, the artist or the star and then have your fans on the sideline, but actually walk them through the stage, because it was something that everybody was facing. And so I do believe that digital-wise, that was the key point that this whole period of Corona played in increasing the relationships, in artists being able to value their fans more, but also their fans being able to value their artists more, because during this period, we all got to connect and all got to comfort each other, if that makes sense.
Yeah, no, definitely. I think music played an important part for I think the artists, we should recognize them as probably frontline workers, because they help.
Yeah. No, I completely agree with you. I think more than anything, people got to realize the key importance of music, of the entertainment industry in one's life. It wasn't just put as something that you just do for entertainment or just a want. It actually became a need and something that one can connect spiritually to. So
Yeah.
that was like the key thing. They were frontline workers.
Yeah. Now I'll just go to Tumany, because and Tumany, in this period you've had actually very, I'll just put a bit of spotlight on Tumany Savine. So Tumany Savine has just released in the past few months, released 2 singles which were specific. These were social political songs aimed at sort of the addressing what was happening in Guinea with the election. That was like very strong message to mine from you. Will you say the COVID and all what was going on had an influence in sort of sparking sort of a more sort of connection to what the people were saying in your releases, in your songs that you released?
Yeah, I think definitely that had an effect on it. I mean, it has an effect on all of us, because the people was not an external force. We are the people. We are part of the people. So it has an effect on us still to now. We stay under that stress and that duress that comes with it. But of course, looking at the political tension that was going on in Guinea and around the regions, in different regions in Africa, different parts in Africa, yeah, you have to stand up. You have to stand for something. This is not happening only in Africa. We're seeing what's happening all over the world, in Europe, in America. We're seeing that people has come to a point where it feels like enough is enough. We can't take the bullshit no more. We gotta talk to ourselves like, man, if you don't really want us to talk to you like civilized people, then we're gonna have to scream at you. We're gonna have to yell at you. You know what I'm saying? We're gonna have to come out there and do some crazy stuff for you to get to understand the message. So definitely the effects of the COVID-19 was behind most of the releases I made. But the funny thing is that all these songs were songs that I recorded a couple months ago, and I was thinking about when to release them, how to release them, and whatever, because like we said, again, going back to the digital space, all these things matters. You need to know the right timing for a release of song. You need to know how to not to ride the back wagon, but to actually engage at the right timing to have the right effect, because you want to meet out a certain expectation. And we kind of like observed that. We kind of like observed how the first release, the first song that I did that was addressing the presidential election in Guinea, and that song went out on our YouTube space and took off like fire. The numbers that came back were really impressive, because when you look when you do a measurement of our fan base or the people that are paying attention to what we're doing, and the numbers we got from that release, you could already tell it was because that song came in a time where the people needed a message like that, and that's why they went behind that song. That's why they rallied behind that song. So it's very important as well to know how to use these spaces, when to engage with the people in a certain kind of term. We saw also big artists all over the world doing the Black Lives Matters protests and the pro-Black rallies that was going on. A lot of these artists came out and did a lot of, like she was saying, a lot of online indoors concerts that were created to actually cater to the need of the people, speak the language of the people, comfort the people, and tell them that we are with you. So I think, yeah, COVID plays a part in it, and we just actually trying to be a voice for the people that are actually speaking out there but cannot be heard.
Yeah, but just to mind, that's actually interesting in terms of the release, and this brings us to the digital space, since we're really looking at how the African artists use the digital space. And in your case, these releases they were made within this digital space. And how was it like after you release a song? Were you interacting? Were these fans writing to you on Instagram? Were they trying to get to you and communicate with you through the space?
I mean, yeah, it was beautiful like that. That's what I'm saying. It was beautiful when I saw people rallying behind the song, especially the first song. I was amazed. I was like, wow, I was not expecting this, because of course, once there is a social political tension in any place, the artists are looked upon to address the situation or to bring more awareness or more visibility to the problem. And that reaction that I got back from the people, going rallying, I saw so many people that was not even within my network who were sharing the songs, because I was following the evolution of things, and I was surprised that these guys were even, able to see my song, to see my release. And I understood it was because of the fact that it was a time that that message was needed and people were rallying behind it, and the trafficking on the internet led to so many different networks or different communities that would see that message that was uniting all of us at the same time. So it's definitely a good thing to see the fans coming up to you and saying, "Oh man, thank you for saying something that is really important. We need more of this," you know. And that's why I followed up with a second song that was called "Bloody Motherland," which is more from a continental perspective. That was not just addressing the Guinean situation. So yeah, I think it's there. The people are there. They see your efforts. They can get to you. They can talk to you, and they can even give you ideas, things to write about. This is why, you know, today is beautiful. Like the other time I saw one of these artists posted, I can't remember who again, but he posted up a post, and he was asking them, who do you want me to do a featuring with? You know, so you can even have an idea about how your fans is expecting to hear from you, how they want to see you. You know what I'm saying? There's so many crazy things that the digital space has given us today that makes music to be that should make music to be the best it can be, you know, because we have all the tools at our hands, you know. And I think, yeah, it's a great time.
Well, yeah, that's really well said, Tumany. Thanks for that. I think you just touched on very important things. And just in terms of that, I'll just link up to Anna, because Tumany talks about the growth, and initially in your conversation, you're talking about how you've had certain artists on the platform, you can kind of see how their numbers just increase in the period. I'm just wondering with gigmit, how the numbers, are you able to kind of understand why the numbers are growing? Or why the numbers of artists can be static? Do you have those kind of communication with artists, or are they like metrics that kind of help you see what's happening around an artist?
Exactly. I think it's more the latter. Like, we actually see what's happening around an artist. We can see the development, and especially the promoters can see it. It's not necessarily that we get in touch with artists to ask, hey, why are your numbers growing right now? But and the promoters can do that as well, and we can see it on the artist page if they have a new release, for example. And especially in Corona times, I had the feeling that there were so many more releases, and you could see the growth was actually connected when they had a new release on Spotify, of course. Then the numbers went up. I think there's definitely a connection that you could see. Or yeah, when we got in touch with them through our own indoor-inspired showcase, online showcase, I myself became a promoter, so to say, and that way we got in touch with them as well, and got to see a bit more, okay, when was their last release, what have they been doing? And yeah, and I think that like just getting yourself out there and actually being part of these live stream festivals, even if maybe at first you think, oh, I only have 10 viewers, later on after the broadcast, this video will be shared, and we also shared it, and it was reshared, and that way they got a lot more visibility, and I think that also has positive effect on your socials again, and you can gain new fans because it's super international, and you might get discovered by someone, I don't know, from around the globe much easier than if you would play in a pub somewhere in your hometown. So I think, yeah, especially talking about the live streaming again, that has big potential. Yeah. But yeah, there's also been artist collaborations coming through these live streams from around the world. They started to connect, and artists themselves now can also see the fan charts. They can see who else is trending in my location, who maybe I want to collaborate with, maybe play a support show, or maybe if they want to tour next year, they can see, okay, in this town we need a support band, who's trending in I don't know, in Cape Town, and then they can check.
Now, so it's just right there from Cape Town to Durban, like Zama was saying earlier, and like Music Imbizo is like really, the Durban is like, it's for the people, like people connect to this music business conference, right? And now it going digital from a perspective, because with this session of the Music Imbizo, I was on it, and I saw, I think was it the governor, or the sort of like the tourism, the Durban tourism, trying to be involved with it. So I'm wondering, in terms of the spotlight, because your event is really connection to the city, to the artist, and to the music industry. Now with the change, this new change, are you feeling like you people are not going to come to Durban, or we're going to miss out, lose that Durban feeling? How is it like?
I think Durban is beautiful on its own. It will surely attract people. But you know what the nice thing is, because it wasn't only industry entities that were forced to go digital. You also had different industries that were also forced to go digital. And so here in Durban, we also saw government offices. We have like the PRC, which started PRC TV, which was meant to support artists that they could actually perform. It was all online, and so they would stream it on Facebook and YouTube and all of their social media channels. And that was all just placed on government saying, hey, because everything is shut down, we have some budgets, let us actually give it to Durban artists and actually them come through and perform. But not only just artists, different people, storytellers in the industry, artists as in like painters in the industry. So I think we were still able to get support from the government, tourism, the mayor, because they were also looking at going digital. You had Parliament going more digital with their virtual meetings. So it was something that everybody could relate to. And it was a great thing to see that we were all still able to support each other in that space. Because it would have been a thing of, okay, because you're not bringing anybody here, so we don't need to sponsor you, we don't need to be part of your event. But because they also still saw that the information still has value, we are still going to run with the campaign.
Wow, that's quite interesting. That's just like sort of like everything merging in together. So this would just take us to sort of like the next angle I wanted to look at. As much as this digital platform to talk about artists coming on this space, for the benefits or for the opportunity it creates, but also the artists would sort of are major users of these platforms. They also, in a way, also kind of change the way this platform starts to kind of work, or in terms of Tumany, do you feel that the artists influence how these digital platforms become or how they evolve in terms of their creation? So just give example, for example, I've seen during this period on Instagram, you had the live, a lot of artists going live on Instagram. So I'm sure from a business perspective for Instagram, that becomes something very important from there. So are we as artists, are artists influencing or changing this digital space too, in a way, Tumany?
Yeah, I think it's a vice versa thing, digital platforms are actually changing the way artists are actually creating, how other creators are creating and all like that. And we are actually also changing how the platform is laid out, how they do the interfaces, how, the adaptability and all like that, functionalities, how it works and stuff like that. So like I said, the experience, the COVID experience showed us again another phase of this platform, this digital platform that we might not have had tapped into had it not been for the corona. You know what I'm saying? Like all these different live. I mean, we created on the MusicOnTransit another platform that we host on Instagram, which is called Hip Hop Africa 101, and we've had a good run with it. Interviewing a lot of legendary hip hop figures from Africa. So I think that this is a new way of interaction between the digital world and the consumers, our livelihood on if you to say our digital livelihood, our virtual livelihood. So yeah, of course, we have an impact there. We kind of spearhead. Like for example, we saw the Sweet Beat and Timberland versus concept that just went on from them just having a little fun with themselves. It was something that they had tried, I think, a couple of years back, and they tried to do a kind of competition that was going to be a live situation. It didn't kind of picked out too good then. I think they forgot about it. And then when the COVID came and then it went with it, boom, it took off, and now that's a brand on its own, and it's been booming since. So we've seen that all these our our behavior, our life patterns that we actually integrate into these spaces, they become itself a brand. They become itself a new phenomenon that goes on to give us new ways of using these platforms. So I think it's here to stay, because now that we have actually come to this point, now that we have tapped into this reality, we are definitely going to be thinking more how to create and how to keep elevating the usage of these spaces. So yeah, I think that's a fact that we have influenced more like the digital space and its evolution.
I'll go straight to Anna here on this one, because you have a digital space, a digital platform. How has it been like? How has the artist made you change or evolve or focus on? How has it worked during this whole sort of expansion where artists are coming on digital?
Yeah, I mean, for us, for us it is. For us, it is super straightforward because, of course, the consumer, or actually the users, are the artists. So we're doing everything for our users, and we are changing the platform for our users, and that's artists. And during the Corona, the pandemic, we had to kind of change and adjust. And the first thing we did was, okay, we need other opportunities now. Like, we can't only rely on gigs, even though we're called gigmit, but that's not all we can offer. We need to offer more than that. So of course, then we went to the digital side and the live streaming stuff, but we also started to look for, okay, what else is important for the artists? What do they need right now? Maybe they need exposure, like airplay on radios. So we try to get more online radio stations to scout for their programs on gigmit. And then what else? There were also A&Rs that started using gigmit and for scouting, because of course with the fan charts tool that we then developed, it became more visible for them, okay, who's trending where. So that was one thing we did. And we also do these surveys all the time to see, okay, what do artists actually need? We heard that artists also want kind of the old MySpace back, and be able to connect with other artists. So the first step was to make these fan charts available for artists as well, to see, okay, who else actually is out there and is trending where, and to see the profiles of them, and then maybe connect. But the next step is that they can actually message each other and really collaborate on the platform itself. There's so many ways that we try to always change the platform, also for the promoters, of course, because it's two sides. We need to deliver to two customers, so to say. Yeah. And with social media platforms, it's the same way. Of course, the artists are users as well, but they're also content creators, and they can't, what is a social media platform without content? So they need to adapt to the content. And if they want to live stream and actually maybe even make money with live streaming, then Facebook has to develop a way to, for viewers to donate and to pay for that, which I think they are doing, but I think it's still in the beta phase. So that's a big thing that Corona, I think, accelerated this and made us a lot more flexible and creative to think, okay, what else can we do? No,
that's good, because I saw with the Inspired Indo that was also created in that whole space.
Exactly. We never thought, like our founder, I thought, because when it first started with Corona, I thought, it's really bad. And we were a bit scared because we didn't know how dangerous it is actually. But then from the content perspective, and being someone working in marketing, I saw, wow, there's so many cool content formats everywhere. And every morning checking my phone, I thought, oh my God, we need to do this, we need to do that. We need to also have our own live stream. And then, our founder said, well, but that's not what we offer. That's not us. Like, we are the platform. We're connecting, we're enabling, but we're not doing festivals. But then we thought, well, but since we don't have that many opportunities, maybe we need to create our own opportunity and do it ourselves. And this has proven to be really good for us, also for the brand gigmit itself, also because that also creates trust, because we're actually, doing something, making it happen, so to say, and make a lot of great music visible from all around the world. And then you also see how your platform works from a promoter perspective, because you're using it as a promoter. So yeah.
No, but definitely, you guys should check it out. Inspire Indoor. I think we should bring some African artists on the for
definitely. In the next Indoor Inspired is end of the month, and in collaboration with Garden Wonder, which is it's a concert format, and they wanted to do it together, and it's going to happen on Show For Me again, which is the live streaming platform. And yeah, we still have a few slots open, and it's always cool to have acts from different parts of the world. And South Africa is actually, or Africa in the whole, but we are actually, we started to do a few campaigns for South Africa, and we have, I think, around 3,000 artists now from South Africa.
Wow.
And it went really fast, and we were like, okay, now we need to also have some festival there.
And there we have Zama in there ready, just right in there to make that bridge. And that's exactly what the MusicOnTransit is about, exploring these interactions and intersections between the music space. And we know that now, not just focus in just one space and connecting. So I'm just going to go to Zama. I think this will be with the last Music Imbizo, which was virtual. For me, it was a success. That was it was wonderful. I got an opportunity to connect, to meet other people. I'm sure other artists had opportunities, promoters, and all this industry. But from your angle, how does it work with the Music Imbizo in terms of how do you work with artists before the conference itself, during the conference, and after the conference? Do you have a personal relationship you create, you develop? Just tell us a little bit about your relationship with artists.
Okay, so more than anything, as I said, that it was, informing, networking, and so on. And so the live element being, we're meeting at one location, we are at the Moses Mabhida, and we are interacting, and for 4 days we are just, we are around each other. And that whole concept was aimed at building families and building relationships that are just beyond, just business, because then you'd have night sessions and live performance later on, where you will go and actually have a drink and actually chill and just interact with the same person that you're asking for business here in a nice professional suit, and now you're coming in your shorts and you're more chilled. And so that has always been the aim. We have and I think because the nice thing is we are consistent, we have also had a consistent pull through of artists, of companies, of people in the different sectors of the industry saying, I want to come back to the Music Imbizo, and I'm willing to come through and do it for free because I know what we're doing and I want to get the message across. But at the same time, I know that there is so much value that I'm going to receive back in terms of my business and me getting to actually engage with the certain person that I want to engage with. And the nice thing about the Music Imbizo has always been the fact that we've always shared our details prior. The 2020 Music Imbizo ends a week later or 2 weeks later, we're releasing dates for the next one. We're releasing some of the speakers for the next one. So we're sharing the program prior so that you can get to plan around your schedule and you get to actually pinpoint who you want to talk to and who you want to network with, and even the different sessions you want to attend during the Music Imbizo. And so it has always been a thing of, we cater it for you. You get to choose what you want and you get to interact in the way that pleases you. You don't have to attend every session, but you need to attend the sessions that you feel like are relevant for your career. And I think looking at the digital space element, even though we were very new to it, it worked tremendously for us because it was a matter of people still got to engage, people still got to set meetings. And we've always looked at, the way we were running our platform as it's a dating app. You'll get matched with the person that actually you have more common ground with, because you get to fill in your details and it will actually tell you also viewed your profile, or it links you basically. So that was also the nice thing, but also even giving a long-term life to the content that was shared, to the information that was solid, because that information came at such a key point for different artists and different industry people when you are sitting at home and you're going through this thing that is the first time you're experiencing it, and you're actually getting to hear different people in the industry talking about where do we go from here? Where are we now? What is new? What can be done? And so the idea that, if we had it just at a live location, we would have done it for that week and then would have ended, and maybe would have shared videos, like 2 or 3 afterwards. But now it's a matter of, we did it like a few months ago and the content is still available online now. And that just emphasizes the power of the digital space, which actually, informs us that it works and it has so much potential. And it has just changed the whole idea that we always had that, if you focus on social media too much, you'll become self-obsessed. You will, it's going to ruin your personality. You will, you'll disconnect with people. But now there's become a platform where everybody goes on and says, I'm creative, I have content to share. How can I make money with that content? And the nice things, you can start from any age. So I think that has just shown us the power of the digital space. And for the Music Imbizo this year, it worked beyond our expectations.
Now, but that's actually during the Music Imbizo, I was going in because you couldn't watch all the sessions, right? So I was going in and out watching that, and that was unique, I mean, for a live session, I'm not sure you could probably experience all of that. So just on content, because that's content, I'll just talk to Tumany because on the MusicOnTransit, we focus also on culture in regard, because we try to see the interconnection. And even during the Music Imbizo, you had sessions where, the focus was on how do artists keep sort of the identity. If the audience becomes sort of an international or wide audience, do artists now have that pressure? Tumany, as an artist, do you feel, for you or for artists now, there's sort of a pressure to want to, because the audience has changed now, you're not changing yourself, but it's also entertainment, right? You want to appease too many people. I don't know if you get it. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, that's always been there. The music business has always been like that. There was, it's a business, right? So once you're in it and you're in it professionally, that means that you were in an industry, and you are offering something to the industry, a commodity, a product, and that product must be consumed, and you want it to be consumed. The best, you want the numbers for it. So yeah, I think the pressure is there, but at the same time, for me personally, as an artist, I have thrived more by trying to stick to my roots, to my guns, so that I found myself more in a place where I can venture into different stuff without really having any fear of what the outcome may be, because I have been able to stick to my guns for a long time, and I have been able to prevail through the different times with the different trends as it comes. So what I would say to artists is that whatever you're good at, you got to stick to it, right? And like we said, the COVID was a new experience because it gave us a new time to dive into new spaces, and the digital space is one of those places that we are now. Because of this time, we are having a MusicOnTransit, for example. We're having Imbizo going digital and seeing one of the best success they ever had throughout their career. So whatever your style is, or whatever your image or your brand is, you got to stick to that, and you got to keep perfecting it, because in the loop of things, there will come a time around the loop where it's going to come to your point, where it's going to be your topic, where it's going to be your style that will be out there. And if you are already grounded with the time that you put in prior to that time, you will be ready to go for it, because you're already prepared for that time. So we've seen a lot of artists who the corona helped propel their image and their brand way beyond what they had, before corona. And it's because some of them stuck to their guns, and they kept going, they kept pushing, and now they are in a better space because they have a more concerned audience, and they have more traffic on their digital spaces. So I think that's a way to see it. But again, music is a very competitive business. You always want to be there in the forefront of stuff. Artists have to do more than 5-6 publications a day just to be afloat and all like that. So again, it's the business. You have to be able to, balance it with what you're doing, your content. Like recently, we saw this year, 2020, we felt like the hip hop music was kind of lost, like in terms of content, in terms of lyrical diversity and stuff like that. But this year was really good for hip hop on an international level, even from Africa to America. We saw great releases. And one thing that I observed is that most of these releases from legendary rappers were independent releases. No heavy radio airplays, no TV pushing or backing, no major backing. They were doing it indie with their own labels and digital spaces. And they were all over the place. And today, when you say all over the place, you're talking about internet. You know, you're not talking about b-boys in every major international city like we did in the 90s. You know, you're just talking about being all over the internet, and you're all over the place. So that's the new way to see it. And I think whatever you're doing, whatever you bring in, whatever your part is, you got to stick to your guns, because that's your truth. That's your real artistry. And then you got to find a way to give that to the real audience. Like Zama was saying, whether your fan base is 1 million or 1,000, if they're true fan base, whatever that size is, if you know how to maximize on your art, you'll be able to actually have a good share in this vast and massive space, which is the digital platforms.
Yeah, definitely, I agree on that. Zama, do you want to touch on that in terms of just to pick on what you were saying earlier on? And I don't know if in South Africa during this period, you've gotten a new movement or genres picking up, because I've been following a bit of the Amapiano, and you guys have been heavily with that.
Oh yeah, but I think more than anything, the crazy thing is, because around this time, that's when people release December hits, because everybody just wants that party and that vibe. And we still saw many artists actually still go for that. And it's actually fun because it also created the movement, because we also had shows where it was lockdown stage, and you were just sitting at home and literally just watching the DJ play for you. And so it created that vibe of just self-entertaining and just dancing alone as if nobody's watching. It brought that back to life. So there are a few new genres picking up, but I think more than anything, most artists actually, stay true to their craft and actually also just their identity. And most of the music that has came out has been more related to the situation that's going on, the coronavirus, and trying to also just pick up people's spirits, because a lot was going on. But we saw great production happen. I remember even Kelly Khumalo did an interview and said one of her biggest songs, that is because she recently released an album. And she's like, I was actually in Joburg and I was recording, and Hlengiwe was here in Durban when I was recording. We never met, and literally the song came out so beautifully. So they were only able to meet after lockdown. So it was just one of those beautiful things where the creativity is still there. There's new music that is being done, and people are just finding ways to navigate that and actually get it done.
Yeah, that's good. I think the conversation has been so interesting, and it's just been moving. And I just with the attendees, just dropping your questions. I just saw a question just dropped in there, the panelist session. But if you're dropping the questions, I think it's best if you put them in the Q&A. But this from Kumbuzo in Donge. I hope I pronounced that correctly. But I want to ask about the space of songwriters in this new digital platform. So I think I'll just take us to Anna. Anna, with your space, it's for artists. Is it also for songwriters? Is it just for artists like artists, or do you have sort of songwriters also can create their own profiles on the platform?
I mean, if they're also performing, then yes. But if they're not performing, then that's not the focus, because initially it was a platform for live performing and to get gigs. But if you're talking more about singer-songwriters, then there's a lot of them using the platform for sure.
Yeah, so I think you just probably check out on Gigmit, and we're also going to probably be putting out more information on different platforms and different platforms that help out. So I'm just going to tell our team, because we have the 1124 Inc. team behind Buju, if probably you can put the links to our social media handles. So you can also check out our social media handles. We'll be putting out information on that too, just to pick up on platforms like different songwriters, people looking for different platforms that works for them. I was having a conversation with Tumany recently about sort of finding out which platform works for you, because for example, just give the ones we know: Facebook, Twitter, Instagram. You have different audience or different people on different platforms. So Tumany, just to you on this one, how do you find out, or as part of branding, which platform will work for you or works for you in that regards?
Well, I mean, today the business it's hard. That's where the business kind of hard at, you know what I'm saying? For artists who don't have like a sizable fan base and are trying to create those fan base or trying to create that space for their fan base, you're gonna have to really navigate through this platform strategically, right? So for example, I personally I have like a lot of followership on Facebook. So I would actually, you know, do a lot of my communications and interaction, you know, via Facebook and Instagram because they're linked and stuff like that. And with that, I'm hoping that I'll build a sizable fan base that can actually check me on all over the internet spaces that I will cover as time goes. So yeah, I think you guys to actually, but the most important thing is that you got to know what you're going at and what you're looking for. So if you know that you have an audience base, or if you know that you're looking for an audience base, sorry, on an international plane, for example, if you were from an African perspective and trying to internationalize your brand in the music industry, on a global music industry community, then you got to know what kind of platforms work best for you. For me personally, it's Instagram. Right, with me personally, it's Instagram, because with Instagram I navigate more in international spaces without doing too much searching. It's just you know it's easy. The usability of it is very easy. So you gotta be able to strategize. So I have a platform where I try to reach out more to the international space, and I have a platform where I cater more to my Guinean audience or my African audience, because that's the platform they are more active on. So yeah, with a strategy, you will know what to do on what spaces, you know what I'm saying? But again, if you don't have a strategy, then it becomes more like you were trying to say initially. It becomes more of a, where do you go? How do you start? You got to be on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter. So it's all messy. And after all, they're all linked. You know, you can easily link everything and just be on all the platform if that's how you want to ground. But another funny thing is that recently, me and my partner, we developed a new brand that is called Future Face, and it's based on interracial relationship. And we built that platform actually on Instagram. Why? Because we saw during the Black Lives Matters time that a lot of interracial couples were trying to show out a side that was not being shown. That, okay, yeah, we know we're living in a system with a systematic oppression and racism, and it feels like it's a black on white thing or a black against white thing, but we're trying to show that black and white are coexisting, or different people from different backgrounds can coexist through, you know, I mean, different platforms, you know, love, romance, or whatever. So just from talking from that and from taking in all the things that were happening social politically around the world, we created a platform that is called Future Face, and that is just based around interracial. But we didn't go all over the internet. We stuck to Instagram because we felt that we could reach out more to that kind of community on Instagram. And that platform is tremendously growing, and the growth has been organic. But the people and the reaction from the people is the most, is like the good thing from it, because people come back and say, oh, this is such a great idea, especially in this time. So people can actually already see the brand, see the vision behind the brand when you are on the right platform. Yeah. You see, and this is why choosing the right platform to actually develop the brand or create the brand is very important on a digital space.
I think that was well said. I think now, Tumany, you've just brought us to the marketing plane, like on the precise point. And since Anna, head of marketing, gigmit, and Zama being a senior manager in terms of marketing, if you had an artist that was an upcoming artist that was listening now, and from your experience in the marketing and also from the digital space, what will be some of the things you'd be telling them?
Okay, who's starting?
You can start. There's so many.
Yeah. Okay, from my side, I've always looked at the digital space, or just looked personally in saying that if we're saying it's the music business, we should look at it as a business. If you are getting into the digital space, look at it as a marketing platform, a platform for you to put your brand out there. So the most important thing is research. Find out what makes Facebook different to Instagram, what makes Instagram different to Twitter, and then find how your brand is associated, what your brand is aligned with. Then, because whatever comes along, you won't change because you know your brand and you know what you're good at. And then start with the social media platform that best works for your brand. and actually focus on that and slowly jump onto the others. There are different content that works for different platforms. You've got Instagram now that has just introduced Reels, which is taking over TikTok. So Reels wouldn't work, maybe, little short 15 seconds videos wouldn't work on Facebook, but now they're working on Instagram. So that's what I'm saying, research, find out what makes Twitter work, find out what makes Facebook work, what makes Instagram work. But the most important thing out of all, if you want to grow your numbers, be present on those sites. Scroll through, see what other people are tweeting or sharing, what they actually are saying, and also engage with them, because it's a community and you can't just come in, post, and then get out, because that makes you not part of the community, which means that the numbers are not going to come to you. So that's literally just how it works. Find what works for you, find out what makes each platform work, and actually just be part of it. Even if you set it hourly, like one hour I'm going to be on Instagram and I'm just going to be engaging on Instagram. Next hour I'm going to be on this and I'm going to be this, because they all have so much to offer you and they're all beneficial to your brand as an artist.
Well said. Thanks for that. Perfect. I think that's like really full of advice there. Anna, you want to take from there?
Well, I mean, I totally agree. I would add to that you should, try to think about if you really get into the marketing perspective, try to think, okay, where is your target audience? So who are your fans? Or who do you think your fans could be? And where could they then be? And then try to reach them on that platform. But they are maybe, if they're really loyal fans already, they might also follow you to another platform, of course. But from a promoter perspective, Facebook, even though it's not as hip anymore and it's not used as much anymore, but in the booking sphere, which is still a bit 2000 late sometimes, Facebook is really important still. So that's like a basic must-have, I think. And then Spotify also is something where bookers are looking, okay, how many listeners do you have? And then on top of that, I also think Instagram is the platform you can best engage with your fans, that has a lot of possibilities to be creative and is very positive also, I find. It's not so much hate, although that exists on all the social media platforms. But I think that's one thing. And then for more tips also around online marketing or online promotion, we have a lot of guides also that we offer for free for our artist community. So we have one around online promotion, one around live booking and live streaming. We have a guide for that also. So we hope that people sign up and also get the content, and we have a good content basis also on our blog, lots of how-tos and marketing tips, but also industry news, music production news and everything. So I just wanted to get that out there as well before I forget.
That's part of the market, it's fine.
There's content as well.
No, but just to take it from there, it's been an amazing discussion. I hope we can do this again digitally or in Durban or in Berlin, somehow, whatever way it's going to work out. But just to the attendees that came through, were in and out, it's been great having you guys with us through this whole panel discussion, joining us through. Just before we leave, I'll get a final words from Tumany and Zama. What do you want to tell the world? What do you want to tell Tumany of the music? Any music coming out?
Well, we are on a digital space, so I would ask anybody that's looking at us to go follow me first of all. Tumany at Tumany, Tumany 7 NIMS. That's my handle on all social medias. New music is coming, new project is coming, new content is coming. Because with the company, we're creating new content. Hip Hop Africa, my one-on-one live IG show is coming back soon, hopefully start of next year. Yeah, we're gonna keep working, we're gonna keep thriving on this digital space. And I want to tell the African artists as well that they should really get on here, get on these spaces, you know, get involved with what's going on. Like Zama was saying, you don't just get in and get out. It's a community. You need to get around the community. You need to our first the first MOT. We have Mahmoud from Genius, the co-founder of Genius. And the funny thing is that Mahmoud and me, we met in a forum, in a hip hop forum, you know, way back as far as 2009. And he was talking some stuff, and we just started following ourselves on till we got connected again on the internet. And so that's a relationship that has only been virtual for the longest, you know, and we were able to pull off something at the end of the day that meant something for the culture. So I think the African artists should get more engaged with the digital platform, not just the social handles, but get into more research, you know, research the different services that are there. You might fall on a gigmit, you might fall on a music Imbizo that could help you spearhead your careers and set in different fields and different communities. So yeah, just keep your heads up and keep working, man. That's what I gotta say.
Nice one. Thanks for you. And we'll go to Zama. End it up for us.
Oh yeah, from our side, it's all roads leads to the Music Imbizo 2021. The dates have already been set out. It's going to be from the 24th of August to the 29th of August. So we're doing 6 days this time. We always aim big and we just see where the road takes us. But I think the most exciting part this year becomes the fact that we also looked at how we can also still add the digital element and still have the live element, because both of them play such an important role. But also even just looking at and talking on key topics of, you know, even money matters when it comes to artists performing digital wise, and how one is paid and also is paid fairly. So those are some of the topics that we're going to be talking about. But also we're just hoping that Corona will be done by that time so that you guys come through in Durban and actually get to enjoy Durban.
Yeah, I hope we can make it to Durban. With Anna, we're taking you to Durban. Tumany, get ready.
Oh, I'm ready. I'm always ready.
Cool.
So now it's been great. Thank you guys so much for having the time and giving us all your experience, sharing your experience, and also sharing about your platforms to the listeners and people being part of it. And of course, like with digital content, we're going to put them out there so that people can also engage and enjoy all what we had and all what we've been able to give out today. It's been a pleasure. I hope you guys stay safe with all what's happening now, and the same to our attendees. And I will give a shout out to our team behind, just making sure everything is okay. Buju from the 1124 Inc. team. And this was the wrap, the MusicOnTransit 3rd edition. Look out for the 4th edition. Anna, Zama, we're going to put you in the loop so you know what's happening for the 4th edition. And enjoy the rest of the day. Friday, go enjoy the day. Listen to some music, hopefully. And yeah, take care, guys. Hope to see you guys.
Take care. Bye.
Bye. Anna, you are in Berlin, right?
Yes.
Okay, I'm in Berlin too. So we're going whenever it is good to meet. You know, we're gonna meet. Exactly.
Oh, cool.
Without the max and stuff like that.
Well, we can go for a walk.
Hey man, nice one, man. It's really been a pleasure being here. Nana, thank you. Zama, thank you guys, and yeah, peace.
Take care, guys.
You guys.
Have a nice day. Bye.
Have a nice night. Bye.